Will my old computer run Windows 10? It's not a new situation. Every time there's a new version of Windows, we have these machines that have been around, gosh, forever sometimes, and we wonder, will it in fact run the current version of the operating system? Today, of course, being Windows 10. Will my old computer run Windows 10? There are several options to extend the life of an older machine depending on its capabilities. I'm Leo Notenboom. This is AskLeo.com. Question. Hi Leo, I have an old HP computer with Windows Vista. What do I need to do short of buying a new computer? As with so many things, it depends. I'll review what's necessary to run Windows 10, and then we'll examine a couple of alternatives. Minimum requirements. The first thing to do is to see if your computer meets the minimum requirements for Windows 10. You'll find the full list here on the Microsoft website. The short version listed there includes the requirement that your computer have a 1 gigahertz or faster CPU, 1 gigabyte of RAM, a 32 gigabyte or larger hard disk, an 800 by 600 display. Now, let's be clear. Those are the minimum requirements. In fact, I'd call them the bare minimum. Windows 10 may work, but will it work well? I'm guessing not. I would much prefer to see just about everything doubled. A 2 gigahertz or faster CPU, 2 gigabytes of RAM, a 64 gigabyte or larger hard disk, and a 1920 by 1080 display. If your computer meets those requirements, and especially if it exceeds them, upgrading may be an option. You should be able to download Windows 10 and run the installer to have it confirm that your computer is compatible. Consider a switch. If your machine doesn't meet the minimums for Windows 10, you might consider a switch to Linux. There's a learning curve, and the software you currently have for Windows will not work, but the concepts are the same, the interface is similar, and there are lots of free alternatives for many popular software packages. This is mostly a personal preference thing. Are you up for the switch? It's definitely geekier than Windows 10. I generally point people at Linux Mint. You can see the minimum requirements for the latest release here. Interesting, their minimum requirements aren't that different than Windows 10. 1 gigabyte of RAM, a 15 gigabyte or larger hard disk, a 1020 by 768 display. While those two are the bare minimum, my experience with Linux is that it still tends to run well-ish in low-resource situations. If your machine doesn't even meet those requirements, then there are most definitely other distributions of Linux around that require less. You can check this roundup for a variety. Puppy Linux is one I've played with in the past and seems quite capable. Quoting from its wiki, people have succeeded in running Puppy with a 333 megahertz CPU and 64 megabytes of RAM. However, having 256 megabytes of RAM and a 512 megabyte swap file is more realistic. Do nothing. The final option, albeit less popular, is to do nothing. Yes, you'll hear dire warnings from people, including me, about the ramifications of no longer getting security updates and the like, but honestly, as long as you practice excellent security habits and the software you care about continues to run, it is an option. Let's face it, we regularly see people running Windows XP and their world hasn't collapsed. Just make sure you're backing up regularly. For links related to this article, or leave a comment, visit AskLeo.com/79111. I'm Leo Notenboom. This is AskLeo.com. Thanks for watching.